Hello and welcome to Not All Fire. I'm Jude Evans.
And I'm Joe Hart.
We are, as ever, recording from our traditional positions of me in what looks like a toilet, but is actually the corner of my hotel room, and you're sat in your lounge with a very bright conservatory behind you.
I had a bit of a nightmare because I'm in my kind of dining room, but I've moved it round, so it's not really set for podcasting. But yeah, I'm at home today, which is nice. Been in the office.
Yeah.
How's your toilet you're sat in, or wherever you are?
I'm in Essex this week. Doing some local authorities. Actually, I had a really fun visit today. I went 2 hours by tube to get to Uxbridge, the other side of London, which is a really good job because it really nicely ties in with one of our massive fires that's happened today. Yeah, no, I've been to a really interesting building actually, which we're going to talk about later because it's got a massive big atrium and it's kind of like a 4.5 story building. With different level floors around a central atria, and the top part's glazed. And so me and Chris were having a big discussions about atria earlier on today. But
well, I can do something with that because I've been teaching smoke control today. So this whole show is writing itself.
Oh, it's almost like we know what we're talking about. Goodness me.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, we must lean into something. We must draw attention to the fact that more people can see us now, can't they?
Yes, I was very, very surprised when I accidentally hit Spotify the other day and saw us on video on Spotify. That was quite a surprise.
I was surprised when someone told me it happened. I had no idea it was happening. But let's set the provenance. So we started as an audio podcast. We were on Spotify, then Amazon, then Audible, then somewhere else, and God knows where else. Then we started doing video, which is hosted on YouTube. And now somehow those worlds collide, and we're also on Spotify video, which is the next level.
Very exciting.
We've unlocked a new podcasting level, so more people can see us, which is fun. So
that's quite fun.
Welcome to more watchers, because Spotify, looking at the stats, by far has always been our biggest platform. It's always been like 80% of downloads of Spotify. So now more people can see what we're doing. And for those that are seeing us for the first time, we do sometimes bring in here visuals. We might record in a place like on scene in the lab or whatever. We have little visuals that crop up on screen and stuff. So hopefully you enjoy that.
Sometimes we're sitting in more exotic places and I haven't just got the fire action notice directly behind my head of what to do in the event of a fire from my hotel room.
That's a prop. She carries that everywhere with her.
My new hat. Let's talk about some massive fires. So obviously I've been in Brentwood today. Well, no, I haven't. I've been in London. I've been around Brentwood. So the M25 between junction 26 and 28 has basically been shut since 3 o'clock this morning. A lorry caught fire. I don't know whether it had an accident caught fire, whether it caught fire. I think it was a delivery lorry caught fire between junctions 27 and 28, which is kind of the bottom of I want to say it's the bottom of the A12 area. It caught fire. The traffic stopped. Further back in the queue, about 15 minutes later, 2 lorries collided and another lorry caught fire.
Because they were slowing down because of the thing up ahead?
Oh, because they were slowing down and somebody didn't notice and somebody drove into somebody else, and so a second lorry caught fire. So if you work for Essex Fire, I feel very sorry for you today. It's been a very challenging day. I was probably for Hertfordshire as well, because that covers both counties, and maybe even into LFB territory. Do they come out to the M25? They probably don't actually. Or maybe
I'm not sure. I was chatting to a bloke from Hertfordshire Fire and Rescue a while ago, one of my students, and he said something like, if we have to close a lane of the M25, it's £15,000 per minute or something. There's some chargeback rate for it. It's one of these huge infrastructure. It's a big call to close a single lane of the M25. Yeah. How many lanes is it? Like 3 lanes or something?
4. So if you go from the M11 round, well, no, most of it's 4 anyway. I mean, it literally most of it's 4 lanes.
Right.
But it was certainly shut, and I came back from London at about 1 o'clock on the Elizabeth line over the top of the M25, and when you looked north, they'd still got the barriers shutting the road going north of that junction, and everything was going off onto the A12. So not only, and that was, let me just do some maths. 7 hours? No. 8 hours after the fire.
Wow. Okay. Huge.
And if they didn't, so that's and also, so they'll have had to resurface roads. I saw some video. The fire service posted some video of two tipper trucks, and they've got a tipper trucks with grab handles that were picking stuff up and putting it into other lorries, stuff that was burnt by the side of the road from this lorry that had been absolutely destroyed.
Yeah.
But of course, you've got all the clear up. It's not which again, water runoff. Where does the water runoff go on a motorway? I mean, if we know that if we have a new housing development, they've got these lakes now and ponds where the water runoff can go to, and it's kind of a sealed lake, and there's a pumping station, so you can sort of pump water in and out. But on the side of a motorway, where does it go?
Yeah, we've all had standing water on the motorway, haven't we? In heavy rain, so you can imagine it's the same. It doesn't go anywhere. Did we talk about attenuation ponds and stuff on this show?
No, we're going to talk about it today. No, we're going to talk about it today.
Has it come up?
It has briefly. It has briefly come up in next week's episode.
I'm time traveling again, aren't I? Time traveling.
You're time traveling now.
I just realised it has come up in next week's episode.
It's come up in next week's episode.
Or rather, it might come up in next week's episode. Obviously, we haven't recorded it yet because we record this sequentially. Yes, it might do, mightn't it?
Spoiling the illusion momentarily there.
Whoops.
Yeah, so but I think there's been a lot of the motorways had to be resurfaced as well, because obviously all the tar's melted.
Right. Yeah.
And how deep does that go down, and how intense was the fire? Now, the photographs I saw, if you go on the BBC website, maybe we'll flash an image up of the lorry of the fire. I'm not joking you. The fire was spread across like 3 lanes. You had the little cab. The fire was spread across 3 lanes, and it was 2 cars. It was a monstrous fire.
Yeah.
Properly big.
Well, it's fuel load of what the lorry's carrying, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just unquantifiable. You can define a car fire size reasonably, and be a bit conservative and round up maybe, but for a lorry it's unquantifiable. Could it be like 20 megawatt, 25 megawatt? It depends what it's carrying. I could probably design it to be 50 megawatt.
Yeah, I mean,
if it's carrying 4 cars,
Well, if you think about, the car transporters carry 12 cars, 15 cars.
It's huge. Yeah.
But if you think about these big waste lorries, the ones with the bulging sides that you drive around past, that are going between refuse centres or whatever, and you've got this huge amount of waste in there, that could be anything. And if the fire had started in there, because where do fires start in waste? They start with batteries, they start with all sorts of things that are being crushed. So if you've got a lorry like that and a fire started in the back, you're absolutely stuffed.
Yeah, absolutely. Wow.
So,
I've not seen that on the BBC News, but it sounds like a good case, to be fair.
Yeah, it's a good job we weren't driving down anywhere south, I think, today. And I mean, it didn't. I first heard about it because one of the members of staff that drove in this morning, she lives out Romford, and she said it normally takes me 12 minutes to drive in, and it took me half an hour, so something must be up. Right. So then we did some Googling, and we were just like, oh my God, look at the state of that. And then I came obviously back at 1 o'clock, and I said it's still really, really bad. And we were just astounded because it's never shut for that long.
Right. Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow.
Bad.
Very bad. So much so I'm going to fill up my wine, Jude. Of course, now we've got more viewers than listeners. Everyone's going to see what happens on the show.
There's me drinking a Dr. Pepper Zero. Dr. Pepper Zero, and you're drinking red wine.
Standard recording. Standard Tuesday night.
Either of whom we'll take sponsorship from, obviously.
No.
Did you see the other big fire though last Thursday? Tracy Medical Warehouse in California.
I have only heard of this from you, but only in passing, so I'm interested to hear more. Go ahead.
A million square feet, 93,000 square meter warehouse, completely destroyed.
Oh gosh, what was it storing?
Medical equipment, medical items. Right. So everything, probably, I'm going to assume everything from plasters to X-ray machines.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. Bloody hell. What a huge loss of. What I was thinking was, if you lose a factory full of Mars bars, you go, we might not have Mars bars. If you lose medical equipment, you go, what's the downstream impact of that? All that's feeding hospitals and whatever else. So yeah, even that in itself is huge. But then how the hell do you lose 1 million square feet in a single fire? What's happened there?
The sprinklers didn't operate because the sprinklers had either been turned off or were non-operational.
That'll do it, won't it? That'll do it.
There's a video, because Sarah showed me this first, because she was on the news website, and she was just like, "Oh my God, have you seen this fire in California?" And I was just like, "No," because I've only just woken up. And it was like racking, so 4 or 5 pallets high, and you saw a fire that was like 2 pallets down, and I was like, "Oh, sprinklers will get that." And then you saw the fire get bigger and bigger and move to the top shelf, and then you saw it drop down, and I was like, and somebody was filming this. And I was
Oh,
like,
right. Oh, no, I thought you meant like CCTV. Someone
no,
stood
no,
there
no.
filming it.
Somebody was stood there clearly filming it on the ground, going, "Oh, look, there's a fire." And I was like, why are the sprinklers not operating? Surely they must have sprinklers. And then
Yeah.
then Sarah showed me this video of the outside of the building, and literally you went in and it just it kept panning, and there was trucks and trucks, and it kept panning and it kept panning and it kept panning, and it was monstrous.
Wow. Do you know, I do enough work in California, as you know, I'm over there fairly regularly, and it's all sprinklers, every building.
Yeah.
Astonishing that they don't have, well, it sounds like they had sprinklers, but
So they
astonishing
did have, apparently,
that they're not operational.
according to the local fire chief, yeah, the sprinklers have been switched off.
Oh no,
So
what horrible loss.
total loss of the building. I mean, it was a massive fire, because they managed to stop it spreading to all the other sort of single story buildings around, like DHP and Parcel Force have various places like that around. But it's such a big fire, and you're right. It's like, if your insurance company says you've got to have sprinklers, and then somebody switched the sprinklers off because, I don't know, has there been no water? Perhaps you've got a crack in the pipe, or there's been a leak, so you switch the sprinklers off, or they've been switched off for maintenance and nobody switched them back on again. But
Yeah.
that's it. You don't get your insurance back from that.
Well, what's your insurance company going to say? They're going to say you're insured on the basis you do
Of
X, Y,
having
and Z,
sprinklers. Yeah.
not sprinkled. You're not covered. Oh, bloody hell. Yeah.
So that's dead bad.
Yeah, not a good one at all. And as I say, working in California, I know full well that sprinkler coverage is pretty standard. Um, Difficult to get in many places because of the water shortages.
Yeah.
Water shortage in California is fairly standard. You get that in most, certainly in Los Angeles, where I spend most of my time. Water coverage is so difficult. So sprinklers is a battle to fit, but it's also non-negotiable for most people. It's showstopper if you haven't got it.
Yeah.
So,
And that's the kind of place that you'd expect them to have a big water tank out the back somewhere. I mean, even in this country, we have big water tanks for sprinklers, because you
yeah.
can't rely on mains powered water. You have to rely on some form of tankage.
Well, that is what happens a lot in Los Angeles. The town mains is not reliable, so it's stored water supplies of, I can't remember the number, but I know it's different to our number. You know, the
Is it?
45,000 litres that we go for, it's based
Yeah.
on fire, fighting, 3 hose lines giving out 1,000 litres per minute or something. I forget exactly the numbers. California have the same, but they never use more than 2 hose lines, so they have slightly different numbers for it. It's
So
quite
a bit
interesting. I
less.
looked into it once for a project, but
Oh.
yeah, it's all stored water over there.
So yeah, so those are the 2 big fires. There
Very
have
good.
obviously been other fires. I've not really. Those have been the 2 big fires of note that
Yeah.
I've seen. I don't think there's been anything else.
No,
So
not that I've seen. No, nor have I even seen those 2. I need to brush up and keep looking out, don't I?
get with the kids. Come on, get on that TikTok.
Is that where you get your data for
Words
this show?
that I don't even know the meanings of. No, I am not on TikTok. I have enough problems losing hours on Instagram.
Right,
If I
yeah.
had TikTok as well, I'd never ever do any work. I'd literally just, that would be my life. I'd just be like, I'm just going to look at one thing on TikTok, and 5 hours later, it's dark.
That's my
So
problem. Yeah, 100%.
yeah, social media, it sucks you in. Doom scrolling's a pain. It's
Yeah.
one of those things that you sit there and go, I'm just going to check a couple of things. I'll just look something up, and then all of a sudden, 45 minutes has gone by, and you've
Yeah.
messed up your algorithms.
I keep telling people at the minute in the office that I'm at war with inefficiency. I'm so frustrated at the minute with meetings that go on too long and people that could have that phone for no reason, and
Emails.
I'm just trying
This
to knock it
meeting should
out.
have been an email. Yes.
Yeah, you could print that on a t-shirt for me at the minute. Oh, I'll tell you what else I promised someone in the office today, though. So I'm going to do this on the show and then we'll move on very quickly. Would you like to see my bruise, Jude?
Oh dear. It depends on where it is. For half an hour.
I'm going to show you my bruise, and how fitting that it's now a video on Spotify as well. So I now know hundreds of people will see this. Let me show you my bruise. Look at this. You see that?
Oh my god, dude.
Look at that. And hey, if anyone's just listening, you'll probably be checking out the video now because it is a fairly substantial injury. I'm sure you'll agree, Jude.
Joe has pulled up his right t-shirt arm and has got a bruise on his muscle right next to the lunar landing module that is equally the size of the lunar landing module. How on earth did you do that?
Look at that. Mystery bruise, Jude. I can't tell you. Just my usual heroics. But I promised someone today I'd do it on the podcast. So there you are. There's the bruise of the week. I'm sure you can't disagree.
That kind of looks like you were lifting something and then somebody mishandled it and it dropped down on top of you.
You think it's a health and safety risk? I mean, you're not far off.
Joe, you are a health and safety risk.
The only book I finished writing this year is the accident book.
But
there we go. So anyway, there's my mystery bruise. No explanation needed, but there we are. I'll tune in next week for injury of the week from Joe's life.
Dear, oh dear. It's better than what have I spent my money on this week. I bought another random piece of equipment that I'm never going to use.
Yes, no, I do that a bit as well.
How is that BMW in your car? And I can see the telescope in the background as well. Lol, lol, lol. Long-term listeners will recognise all of these things we've spoken about over the 2 years that Joe has bought and then promptly never used ever again.
Funnily enough, the thing that did the bruise on my arm was something I spent quite a lot of money on and will never use again now because it nearly broke my arm. So.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Let me just fill my glass of wine. Now we've done that segment. Let's do something fiery, shall we?
Let's do something fiery. So let's talk about Atria and let's talk about smoke control. So the building I went to it's 5 levels, but it's only really sort of 3.5, 4 stories high because it's around an atria and you've got half levels. I'm demonstrating by my hands so you can try and see what I mean. So you've got stairs either end of the atria. If you imagine the atria as a rectangle, the short edges have got stairs up and down, and then you go up different levels. And the very top 2 levels are glazed, and they're probably in 2-foot square glazing, and it's Georgian wired glazing. And then at the very top you've got atria, and it's a sprinklered building. And I was chatting to Chris, our lovely fire engineer, about this today. And we were laughing about the fact that BS 999, when you design Atria, it's very much like a choose your own adventure book. For those of you who aren't geeky enough to know what a choose your own adventure book is you read a paragraph and it will say something like, okay, if you decide to do this, turn to page 23, and if you decide to do this, turn to page 69, and then you go to the respective pages, and it'll give you another option, and then you choose various ways, and you come with an answer at the end. And designing Atria in 9999 is very much like this. It's a choose your own adventure. So if you decide to do sprinklers, then you have a choice of doing this or this, and if you decide not to have sprinklers, then you have a choice of this and this, and you basically follow the path through, and you've got like 20 different outcomes, and depending on which options you've picked all the way along the road, that gives you a compliant or not compliant situation. So we had quite a lot of discussion about this because that's got smoke control. But that's interestingly, although it's got a pitched glazed roof, all of the ventilation is at the highest vertical point around the building.
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
Which is quite normal, but also you've got a smoke coil at the very, very top. So, but we were like, oh, does this need to be fire rated glazing? And of course, based on this criteria of we've selected sprinklers and we've selected glass that only needs to be smoke rated rather than EI rated or REI rated, then we've got an acceptable building.
Firstly, if you'd have said, hey, someone said to me today it's like a make your own adventure book, I'd have gone, was it Chris? I would have known immediately and guessed it's a very Chris thing to say.
Know Chris quite well, yes.
Yeah, do you know, I actually really like the methodology for that in 9999. The kind of flow chart thing where you answer questions and go down through it. It's I find it very easy to follow. Quite a nice way of setting it out. I've adopted that when I've done. I think it was only not so long ago, maybe a year ago. I did a construction site fire risk assessment, and I wrote my answers in a flow chart. So it was like it was a thing with just-in-time deliveries. So is the delivery going to sit for more than 24 hours? Yes, it belongs in this part of the site. Is it combustible? Yes, it belongs here. No, it belongs there. I actually wrote my report as a flow chart. Yeah, I really like doing it because the client said, "Oh, it's easy to follow." But yeah, with the fire rated glazing and stuff, I always I think I've been through it and I've interpreted that what we're actually trying to do is maintain a clear layer height between the base of the smoke layer and our topmost occupiable floor, whether
Yeah.
it's like a balcony or whatever. Because what you've got is the risk of somebody being submerged in smoke, i.e., it reaches their head height, but also the radiative effect of the smoke down on them. You have to have a gap between it. So, like you say, the top two layers are Georgian wire. So they're basically fire rated. That's fine. Okay, we're happy with that. So your clear layer height between base of smoke layer to occupiable story is probably 6 meters, 5, 6 meters,
Yeah,
whatever the
absolutely.
distance
Five,
is.
six
Which
meters.
sounds like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
fairly good design if that's what they've got
Yeah.
in place. And sprinklers. Got everything,
And
right?
sprinklers. I know. So yeah. So it's quite a nicely designed building that's going to be refurbished and turned into it's got a change of use. So I mean, we might end up doing some CFD modelling, but and when I say we, I clearly mean you. But
I'll knock it out for you. We'll do some CFD. We're doing loads at the minute, CFD.
are you?
We had a little run on it for some reason. The CFD computer's not been switched off for weeks. We were only saying today in the office, funnily enough.
Do you know, it's something that, because of the work that I do, it's something I very rarely get asked.
Right. Yeah.
Very rarely get asked, because a lot of the buildings I work on generally are code compliant small buildings.
Yeah. No,
So
we had a big CFD earlier this year, and we've just been rerunning it. So that's going. We've got another Resi job that's just kicked off at the same time, and then only yesterday I got appointed on 2 more for a conference centre. I've got another one in Atria. We've got them lined up CFD at the minute. Just for whatever reason, it's all come at once. Need to probably buy a new modelling PC so we can run more
two at
models
the
at one
same
time.
time. Goodness me.
Yeah, well, Tyler in my team is full-time CFD now. Just got a full-time CFD guru. He's knocking them out.
Fantastic. So your CFD, let's just talk about CFD for a minute, because I understand. Obviously, we've talked about CFD in the past, but let's talk about the actual hardware required for CFD.
Yeah.
So you obviously need a big computer with a really, really fast processor and heavy level processor, then I guess.
Yeah.
So something like almost like a big gaming PC.
Exactly what to buy. It's what we bought. Yeah. First modelling PC we got was from Argos, and it was a gaming PC for 1,500 quid. And the reason we chose a gaming PC was because it has a very, very good graphics card and very high processing.
Oh yes.
And that's exactly the things you need for CFD. So we got that. We've upgraded it since for another gaming PC. Not it's not huge sums of money, a couple of grand for it, and then it does what you need it to do. And then when we get a particularly big job, we use AWS, which is Amazon Web Servers, and we run it on the cloud. And you have to pay for
that. Yeah.
It's
I've
a bit
heard
of
people doing that.
So it's the only way to do it when you've got really big models, but it is a bit of a pain because you pay per core hour, it's called. You pay something like 8p per core hour, which means if your model finishes running and you forget to take it down off the cloud, it keeps charging you for storage.
Cheeky.
So yeah, but you also need to store it yourself. So it's not a few £100 a month and you'll get a decent amount of cloud storage, but you still need storage back at base to do it. But yeah, we just bought a gaming PC off Argos, went and picked it up from bloody Sainsbury's, and it was 1,500 quid, and we use that for most modelling, even still today.
Would you ever consider building one yourself, or getting one built for you, or is it you're not? It depends.
So Tyler, who's a trainee in my team, but he only does CFD, so he's trainee fire engineer, but he's CFD engineer. He's desperate to do it because he knows what to do. I don't personally want to do it because it's not my world. I'd be lost. I've no idea what to do.
I've got friends who would happily do this kind of stuff for a living and build PCs, not going to build gaming PCs and stuff like that. And I see them sometimes and they talk about it, and you're just like, it does seem very, very complicated, but also if that's what you do, you know how to do it. So
absolutely, yeah. And then you know what to look out for, because you can look and say, okay, the graphics card's incredibly important. I'm going to show my naivety here, but the RAM is important, but the thingy isn't. Now, forget about the thingy. We'll get a bog standard one, but we'll concentrate on RAM.
Yeah, and you'll get a super duper graphics card. And sometimes putting it together yourself in that kind of situation is cheaper than buying one off the shelf, because, of course, it's absolutely specific for your needs.
It. Exactly. And we've got a room in our head office that's empty at the minute. We haven't got a use for it. And I was chatting to a mate a while ago, and he was talking about building PCs, and I said, I could do with that. And he sent me a picture, right, of somebody who had built their own PC, but instead of having it in a single unit in a box, they'd mounted it all on the wall. And when you walk into the room,
that's your computer all over the place.
PCs around you. So I was like, I was like, this is my room. Can we do that? And he's like, totally. So my next job for Tyler, who's our CFD guy, Tyler, here's what I need to do. Mount it on the wall. I want to walk into the room. I want to walk into the computer and it just be this weird room. I think it'd be really cool. Get some like flashing lights in there and just have us walk into the CFD room. So that is on my list of things genuinely to do this year. I have no reason for that. I just think it'd be really cool to walk into the CFD computer room.
Silly. That's quite fun. That is quite fun. Oh,
yeah.
Nice. So that's what I've been doing.
Nice. Well,
tell us about some of the smoke control that you might have in an Atria then.
Oh, yeah, I like that. Do you know what I did today? Well, let me.
Yes, that's why I asked the question.
Well, the reason I say it is because I presented today a project that you and I worked on in an atrium for smoke control, which you will remember. That was my case study today. I showed it on screen. Yeah, I didn't say what it was, but I showed the images from it. Because
you need to have a really, really big fire.
It was that case. It was that exact one.
If your fire is too small, the smoke won't get hot enough to reach the AOVs at the top. So if you have a small fire, put more stuff on it to make it into a big fire.
Genuine solution, fill your sprinklers with petrol.
I'm going to say, when we did say that to the client, they didn't really get it at all. Funnily enough.
Yeah.
We thought it was hilarious. They less so.
Bit of a fire engineer's joke, wasn't it? It was a bit sinister in a children's hospital, but so I was teaching today. I did a webinar for, in fact, I'm teaching in a couple of weeks' time. I'm teaching smoke control. I'm doing 2 courses in a row, and you build them up. You do our level 5 program. So I'm teaching 2 days on smoke control, 3 days on automatic fire suppression. I've got delegates on both, and some of them are on the full level 5 diploma that I teach. But anyway, today I had an IFE webinar, the free webinars that I do every month. And what I usually, it's not a cross sell, but what I will do is I'll deliver something that I happen to be thinking about at the time, which is usually what I'm teaching next. So I did today a webinar on smoke control because I'm putting my content together. Well, I've already got the content, but I'm kind of refining the stuff that in 3 weeks I'm going to be teaching. So what I taught today was an abridged version of a 2-day course in 45 minutes. So I was speaking fast. But it was good fun. And in that, I presented the job you and I worked on at the hospital, which was an atrium with a fire in the base, and we did some CFD. And we determined really weirdly that you needed a fire of you needed a big fire because basically the smoke stratified before it got to the fans at the top. Well, before it got to the vents, which means we needed fans. So yeah, in Atria, that is, it's a relatively common problem. That an atrium
that was a really tall atria though. The one that I went today was 4 stories. That one was like nine stories.
Yeah, it was
9 stories.
Wasn't it?
Huge. Yeah. Huge building.
The problem you have with an atrium is that as you get a smoke plume forming, so you get a column of smoke from a fire, forms a plume and forms a layer. As it's rising, it draws in fresh air, and that fresh air is cooler than the smoke, and it causes it to dilute. And then it gets to a certain point where, and in fact, a slide I did today is one of my favorite slides I teach across all of my portfolio about, does smoke rise? Have I done that on this show before? We may have. I don't think you have.
We've talked about it before. I don't think you've done it on the show.
Yeah. So smoke. Because
normally you get really angry about, does heat rise?
Yeah, it's the same thing. Everyone bloody shouts at me and says smoke rises. I go, no, it doesn't. Stop. Oh, it does. To look at it, that's what's happening. But scientifically, and if we're learning at level 5, which is where I teach this, we need to think about it. The smoke isn't rising. What's happening is that smoke is at a higher temperature, which means it has more energy. The particles are moving faster, so it's less dense. It's the fresh air around it that's denser and is falling, displacing the smoke and causing it to rise. The smoke isn't doing anything. It's being displaced, and that's why it's rising and going to the top. And I always like presenting that because there's a really cool experiment you can do if you're operational fire service, which is if you're in a compartment fire in a simulator and you've got smoke above you, what we normally do is we go and we pulse water into the hot layer because we're trying to prevent the fire gases from igniting. If you do the opposite, fire water on the ground, the smoke leaves the compartment. And it's because the ambient air is cooler, it's even heavier, it's even denser, it displaces the smoke faster. Now, you'd never do that in a real fire because, of course, what would happen is there's a risk of the upper layer igniting, and then you're in a much bigger risk. But as an experiment, if you, and this is a terrible solution, but if you have sprinklers in floors, you'd actually clear more smoke, weirdly,
Yeah.
because the ambient air would be cooler, and it's about a temperature differential.
Yeah, you're trying to make the ground floor cooler so that the hot air actually rises faster because the cool air
exactly.
is dropping.
The greater the difference between the cool air and the hot air, the
The higher
faster
the
the
rise.
smoke will go, because it'll rise quicker.
Well,
So yeah, I did that.
that's how wind works, isn't it? With low and high pressure of wind. So when you always look at the map and it's got a high pressure over here and a low pressure over here, the wind will always travel from high to low, but obviously in a circular motion. But of course, it kind of flows like that.
Right, yeah. I put out a call today on the webinar to do some research. I've got this idea for the branch, right? Because, well, the first thing I did was I put out a call for the branch. I might as well do it on this show as well, because I want everyone to hear it, whoever can, that we're looking for more committee members. So I did a thing today and said, if you want to join our committee, let me know. We're interviewing soon. Come and be a part of our team. Loads of applicants straight away. It was fantastic to get.
That's good.
But I also
I'm
put a
very
thing
much
out.
still trying to get the North East Midlands branch back together as a gang, which I'm going to start doing when I come back from holiday next week. So,
Right, yeah. I'm trying to push a load of ideas with the branch, because we're pretty stable now, Yorkshire and Humberside. We're doing really well, and the webinars are great, and the content we put out. We're recording some video interviews in the next month with different people, which I think is going to be cool.
oh, fun.
But I want to do more and more and more. And one of the things I really want to do is some research as a branch. And I put a call out today for anyone that wants to do some research with us on smoke control, because that's what I was talking about today. And basically, we want to do it and distribute it to our members and say, this is one of our members came to us. We facilitated it as a branch. We've all learned something. We'll share it with our members, because we've got a couple of thousand members now, I think. So I'm trying to push that in a minute and move research into the IFE branch. So that's been really cool.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
Enjoying that.
Fun.
But yeah, that's where we've
Well
been.
done, you.
It's all right, isn't it? I like the IFE branch. We're doing well. If anyone wants to join a branch, join a committee, reach out and let us know. We're
only in Yorkshire and Humberside. If you're in Leicestershire, Nottinghamshire, Lincoln, I'm trying to get the North East Midlands branch back together. Still, I'm going to try a bit harder when I come back from. I'm on holiday next week, going to Portugal. So when we come back, I'm very much going to try to do that, because it's very much hanging by a thread at the moment. So
you've got a big patch there, and do you know what you've got the benefit of? Is something that we're fortunate in Yorkshire and Humberside as well, is that you have, and so do we, big cities, so you have big developments, but you have rural, you have a bit of coast, you've got some mountains, you've got some rural farmland, you've got everything, which means that across your patch you have access to, I suppose, of just everything that fire could throw. You've got wildfires, you've got high-rise fires, you've got tunnel fires, you've got bloody everything, coastal fires, ship fires, everything. Yeah.
Bridge fire on Humber Bridge, that could be a nightmare.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Ah, very good. There's the IFE plug for the week. That's good.
Yeah. And we'll also plug Women Talking Fire, because their conferences, when this goes out on Thursday, the conference will be tomorrow on Friday. We've certainly got Dame Judith Hackett. I think we've had some changes. We've had some issues with, and we haven't had issues. Some of our presenters have had family problems and various bits and pieces. So one or two people have had to drop out. We've had to shuffle it around a little bit, sadly. But we're still going on. When this drops on Thursday morning, I will be very much getting ready to host a quiz on Thursday evening.
Can we have a quiz question on this show as a bonus? Because somebody might happen to listen to the show on their way to the conference, they get a little bonus, but we get to have a fun pub quiz. Can we have a question as a little taster of the quiz?
Let me look at my little notes here for a minute.
Oh yeah. What's the theme for the quiz, Jude? Is it a fire quiz or is it popular culture?
Of course it's not. Absolutely not. I've just gone to my phone and I've got a million messages from various members of my family, and Josh, who's on a fire risk assessors course this week. You sent me a message as well. Oh no, I sent you a message. There we go. Josh is doing burgers and travel distances tonight, so that's what Josh is doing on his fire risk assessor course. Let's find a random quiz question. What are baby sharks called?
Oh, I don't know. Are you hoping someone will do the song?
I didn't think about that, but
I think you're going to get the song, aren't you? I don't know. What are they called?
they're called pops.
Hey, oh, that's fun.
That's quite a good
If
one.
I was at this quiz on Thursday night and I know I've had a small glass of red wine, I would be doing the song. I won't do it on the podcast because we're on a video on Spotify, but I would be
We'll
singing
get
the
taken
song.
down. Yeah. Here's another one. What was CFAX page 888?
Subtitles, what? Right? Hey, never
Hey!
forget bloody CFAC. That's an amazing question, but let's think what the cutoff is for who won't get that. I
Oh,
reckon
30.
no one under 25's getting that. Maybe under 30 even. When was
Yeah.
CFAX dead, actually?
I
Oh,
don't
no,
know.
no. I think a very small
Joe's going
percentage
to go
of...
down a CFAX rabbit hole when the podcast ends. I think there's certainly CFAX emulators, and also, was it your brother that was doing something with CFAX football sports?
my brother, who is
Football
called...
sport?
Yeah, my
I
brother, who
have
is
played
called
sport.
Danny, set up something called DFAX, and the D stands for Danny, and it's a
Yeah.
football thing. My brother now has like 30 books that he's published in the DFAX oeuvre, and
Oh,
he
that's
has all
so
these
funny.
football quiz books that he puts out that are actually very, very good and selling very well. So if anyone's a football fan, Google Danny Hart and buy one of his books.
I
Tell him I sent
completely.
you there.
And also, thank you, Danny, for editing our show for the first 50 or 60 episodes before we took
Yeah,
over.
yeah. Until the book
Um,
empire built, and then he ditched us, dropped us completely, and went off and
we're
sold his
out of
DFAX
here.
millions.
We're out of here.
Yeah,
Yeah, so that's very much the level of quiz questioning that there will be.
I love
Basically,
it.
what happens is I just have a notes page open, and Andrea probably asked me 5 months ago if I'd host it, and I was like, I'll do a quiz again, and she was like, oh, okay. And I've been gathering questions for the last 5 months about random things that I see in the news, or if I do a quiz, or if I see a quiz in a newspaper and I see a question that I think's fun, I've written it down and taken it. So
Nice.
they made me promise. I told you this. Well, I know I have said about this on the podcast before. They've made me do it easier than last year, because last year I did it and nobody got more than half right, because not everybody is the same age as me or is interested in music like I am.
Sure. Yeah.
But it's
That
fine.
888's a cracking question, though.
It's good, isn't it?
That's such a good question.
It's
Yeah,
because you
yeah,
sit there and you go, "Oh my god, that's so familiar. What was it?"
yeah. Ah, that's brilliant. I love that.
So should we end on?
I'll also, well,
Oh,
I'll
go on.
also have to do a very quick plug because next Wednesday I'm in Belfast
Oh, you're doing Belfast, aren't you? Yeah.
For Haley and the IFE Northern Ireland branch doing a talk. I'm going to be presenting fire strategies and Desir.
Oh, fun.
I think I've got an hour and a half or 2 hours or something like that. Me and Gary Howe. Gary's going to be presenting Bess, so I'm
Oh,
excited to see
fun.
Gary again because I've seen
Yeah.
him a few weeks ago, funnily enough, presenting.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to be in Belfast. If anyone's there and checking it out, reach out and let me know because I'm going to be around for a couple of days actually. So I'm going to go
Oh, nice.
see the sites. But yeah, Haley 25th next Wednesday, I think it is. No, 24th.
Yes.
Sorry, next Wednesday.
Yes.
For our friends at IFE Northern Ireland, I know Haley listens to the show, so thank you for the invite, Haley.
Yay.
I'm
Hi, Haley. We were
very
chatting the
much
other
looking
day.
forward to it.
Yeah, she did a presentation the other day, but because I think building safety cases are coming to Northern Ireland.
Oh, is that right?
I
Okay.
think I think I saw something, because she was asking me about some guidance, which then I obviously never got back to her with because I'm really, really busy. So for that, I'm absolutely sorry, Haley. I do apologise. You
Yeah.
just have to keep nagging me. It's the only way people get things out of me sometimes. Although it's better now I have Carol to keep me on the straight and narrow.
Do you know, that's actually very interesting now you've said that. And I'm going to do some digging whilst I'm over there because I'm teetering on the edge of opening an office in Belfast over in Northern Ireland. The man's teetering. I'm thinking about it, and
Goodness me,
I've got some leads, but I'm waiting for a big break in the market, and this could be the one. So I'll be doing some. I'm on a recce next week
Oh,
now.
might be. Yeah. Okay, so we're going to end on something that one of my friends told me about.
Okay.
One of my American friends. So there is a unit of measurement that is called the smoot. SMOOT. Now,
A smoot.
a
Okay.
smoot. Now, Oliver Smoot was a man who went to MIT, the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, in 1958 to 1962, I think. and as part of his fraternity pledge to Lambda Chi Alpha, which is something that Americans do, I think, they decided to use Oliver as a measurement to measure the Harvard Bridge between Boston and Cambridge.
Right. Okay.
And Oliver Smoot was 5'7" or 170 centimeters, 170.18 meters. The bridge length was measured to be 36.4 smoots plus or minus an ear. Plus or minus showing the measurement of uncertainty, an ear spelt with an epsilon to further indicate possible error in measurement. So they did this literally in 1958. He was deemed to be the short. He was selected by the pledge master because he was deemed the shortest, which made measuring the bridge the most labour intensive, and he was the most scientifically named, Oliver R. Smoot. He repeatedly lay down on the bridge, let his companions mark his new position on chalk or paint, and then got up again. Eventually, he wearied of the exercise and was carried thereafter by the fraternity brothers to each new position. It gets sillier in the fact that he graduated from MIT in 1962, became a doctor, served at the American National Standards Institute, and then was president of the International Organization for Standardization from 2003 to 2004.
Wow.
The 50th anniversary was commemorated on October the 4th, 2008, as Smoot Celebration Day at MIT, which he attended. The bridge is marked with painted markings indicating how many smoots there are from where the sidewalk begins on the Charles River bank in Boston, with a number every 10 smoots, and then it's painted as to what it is. In 2011, Google Earth enabled the ability to measure distance using smoots with the standard length of 5'7". The calculator function of Google Search also provides values in smoots.
Oh, dude, that is just so much a bit of me, that story. That is one of the best things we've ever done on this podcast, genuinely, that little anecdote.
I knew you'd find it hilarious. So yes, you
I
can measure in
love
smoots. So a smoot is 5'7" or 107, it's basically 170 centimeters. So you can, and it's basically a semi-official unit of measurement.
Oh, yes, Smoot. You've got my absolute endorsement for that, mate. I love it.
The fact that he was president of the International Standards Organization, it's just hilarious.
Yeah. That is so good, honestly. We've funnily enough, we've at work recently, I was inducting, we've had a new director join us, funnily enough, and I had to be very professional, of course. And I was explaining our team and what we do. And I said, the nice thing about our team and what we do is that we have a bit of a roguishness about us. And I told her a few stories about kind of, here's how we've delivered stuff. And our roguishness is kind of, we need to get the job done. Here's how it's going to happen. Let's just get it done. Look, bit of roguishness. And ever since I told that story in that induction for our new director, new head of training, Claire, we've since then, as a team, been sharing stories of our roguishness. And our team chat and our conversation in the office are just full of, hey, did I tell you that this happened? And we've like opened this floodgate for all of these rogue stories. And that, it just sums me up entirely. And Smoot is that kind of rogue that I absolutely love. That's fantastic. Honestly, that's made my day.
Like that. So it's a new measurement. A new measurement. We're going to start measuring everything soon.
So good.
So next week I'm on holiday, and hopefully we have an episode which we pre-recorded a couple of weeks ago. A future past episode. It's very complicated. So hopefully that's going to be going out. If not, Joe, you might have to just record one.
Well, no, it should. I was swapping some emails this morning with Andy, in fact. So the guys, Andy and Donal, who have recorded an insurance special with us. We did record it a couple of weeks ago. The good thing, I listened back to that episode again just earlier this week. In fact, on Sunday, I think it was. Nothing in there is time bound. We recorded it intentionally, knowing that it would go through some checks and it can go out, and that is due to go out next Thursday. So it means that we've not got a normal episode next week. It's a pre-recorded, but we will then be back with what's been in the news.
Yeah,
here's some random stuff.
I don't think it's a video episode next week, is it? I think it's just a standard.
It isn't. No. Yeah, so there will be no brews of the week. There will be no drinking of red wine and Dr. Pepper Zero on the episode. But the week after, we will be back, won't we, Jude? Reflecting on your holiday, finding out about your conference, finding out about my conference.
Yes. Well,
I don't know.
I'll also
Reporting
be
what's happened.
preparing for. Yeah, well, I'll also be preparing for the fire safety event, which is on 1st and 2nd of July in London, because I'm talking at the Golden Thread event.
You are, aren't you? Of course, yeah.
I'm vainly writing. Vainly, I'm trying to write a presentation about. It's about communication and software that we use for sharing data between design teams and how well that works.
Vainly writing. The title of my presentation is "Why I'm Great" by Jude Evans.
Well, what I've worked out is I'm not going to have anything written on any of the slides. I'm going to see if I can dig out about 8 or 9 cartoons and just put cartoons on the slide that are vaguely relevant. Cartoons on the slide behind me, and I'll just talk, because nobody cares about words on a screen anyway. They just want to look at pretty pictures. So
that's my rule. I share this all the time. I was sharing it with somebody in my team today. I said, if you're at a conference, people are there for the experience. Put a picture on screen and talk. They're staring at you. If it's a training course, they need to revise the slides, put the content on the slide. They're looking at the slides, not you. So if it's a conference, they want to see you, not what's on your screen. So yeah, 100% do that.
It is, because nobody wants to read when they're at a conference anyway. It's all about networking most of the time anyway. So
that's it. Excellent. Well, have a lovely trip, you and Sarah, over there in that Portugal.
Thank you very much. We're going over with our bestie Lisa, who sometimes listens, and her husband Neil, and we're going to basically spend a week in a villa, being silly by the pool and drinking cocktails, really.
Well, I'm not showing off and trying to match, but that week I'm going to go to a little place called Chorley.
Oh, Chorley!
I was going to Belfast. Both Chorley and Belfast, international in that particular week. But then just a couple of weeks after that, and I'll tell you in our next in-person recording together, I'm back to, I'm over in the States for a couple of weeks. I'm going to be in New York, and I'm going to be in California. I'm going east to west, and I'm going to be doing some stuff. So I'll tell you. I do have a conference. Yeah, I'm doing some work, so I'll be able to tell you about that in the next episode. So I've got some exciting stuff coming up.
Fun. I think I'm in the office actually that week. The first week I'm back, I'm basically in the office all week, which is quite nice. Apart from coming down to London by train and doing a presentation and then going back home by train. All very fun.
Lovely.
Fun.
All right. Well, do enjoy your holiday, Jude. Thank you everybody for listening. Thank you everybody watching. Maybe you're on the new Spotify, maybe you're on the old YouTube, but yeah, thanks for checking it out. And any questions, let us know, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. See you soon.
Cheers, guys. See you in a bit. Bye now.